Shri Nrsingha Jaya Jaya Nrsingha Dev Appearance Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Bringha. Namaste Nrsinghaya Praladadayani Hiranyakashipur Bhakshaha Shidatanka Nakalai Ito Nrsingha Parato Nrsingho Jato Yato Yami Tato Nrsingha Bahir Nrsingha Hridaye Nrsingho Nrsingha Madim Sharanam Prapade Tavakara Kamala Barena Kamadbhuta Singham Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringham Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Yesterday here in Las Vegas we celebrated Lord Nrsingha Dev's appearance. That was April 27th, 28th, 2018, which corresponded to the opening of the temple. And we had 12-hour Kirtan, and I'm sure a lot of the photos of that and videos of that are on Facebook. So yesterday we had spoken about Lord Nrsingha Dev, and we're going to continue. And I began yesterday's class by talking about Lord Nrsingha Dev's position for us as that form of the Lord that especially removes obstacles, and also that form of the Lord especially that protects his devotees. Now, one might say, don't all forms of the Lord remove obstacles, and don't all forms of the Lord protect us? And the answer is yes, they do. But this form particularly is a manifestation of Krishna's anger at the fact that his devotee was being tortured. And so when his anger manifested, it manifested in that form, and he came especially to protect his devotees, but also that destructive power of Lord Nrsingha Dev also will destroy, or can destroy, our anarthas, if we ask him. So I wanted to read some prayers my godbrother sent me. These are prayers from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and these are prayers to Lord Nrsingha Dev, his own prayers, which is quite interesting. So it's nice to read the prayers of a Vaishnava. We talked yesterday about praying to Lord Nrsingha Dev to protect us, and now here we have an example. This is found in a book by Bhaktivinoda Thakur called Navadvip Bhava Taranga. And Navadvip, of course, is the place of Navadvip, and Bhava is the emotion, and Taranga, I believe, means riding, or, yes, enjoying, or surfing. Surfing on Bhava. These prayers certainly give assurance to all sincere devotees that the worship of Lord Nrsingha Dev is purely in line of aspiring love and devotion of Radha and Krishna. So sometimes devotees ask, well, what's the position of Lord Nrsingha Dev? Because generally, when you worship a particular form of the Lord, that's where you go, because that's called your Ishtadev, or that one form that you adore. So for some it may be Vishnu or Narayan. For Gaudiya Vaishnavas, it's Krishna and Vrindavan, Radha, Krishna, Vrindavan, or more specifically Radha. She's the object of our devotion and worship. Of course, Radhe Shyam. And so then the question is, well, what is the position of Lord Nrsingha Dev? Because that seems to then bring in another form. Or as some devotees worship Lord Ram. But generally Gaudiya Vaishnavas worship Krishna. And so what about Lord Nrsingha Dev? Do we actually need to worship Lord Nrsingha Dev, or is that a deviation? And here it is said, these prayers assure all devotees that worship of Lord Nrsingha Dev is purely in the line of aspiring love and devotion for Radha and Krishna. So Lord Nrsingha Dev is not an eternal form, and he doesn't have his own planet. So if you worship Lord Nrsingha Dev, you're actually worshiping Krishna in that form, that ferocious form of anger, and in the form in which he protects. And so that form appeared for Prahlad Maharaj to protect him. It's not an eternal form with an eternal planet. So, therefore, devotees of Radha and Krishna can worship Lord Nrsingha Dev, or they do worship Lord Nrsingha Dev, as the Lord who will protect them and who will help them remove their obstacles. So, these are prayers of Bhaktivinoda Thakur to Lord Nrsingha Dev. So we can see how he's praying, and then we can also pray as he prays, or compose our own prayers in the line of how he prays. He dushta hridaya kama adi ripu chai kuti nati pratisthasha satyin sadarai hridaya shodana ara krishna rabasan Nrsingha charane mora e to kamana. Poetry. So it must be Sanskrit. Bengali. Within my sinful heart, the 6 enemies headed by lust perpetually reside, as well as duplicity. The desire for fame, plus sheer cunning. At the lotus feet of Lord Nrsingha Dev, I hope that he will mercifully purify my heart and give me the desire to serve Lord Krishna. Oh. He does have a planet called Nrsingha Loka. Okay, so apparently there's contradictory. When I was saying that, I was also thinking, but so apparently there's contradictory understandings. But as devotees of Krishna, okay, so if you worship Lord Nrsingha Dev, then do you go to that planet, or do you go to Vrindavan? Well, yes. I think the answer to that is, if you're worshiping Radha and Krishna and that's your ideal, then that's where you will go. In other words, I think the way we can adjust the answer is in the sense that if you're a devotee of Radha and Krishna, and that's your goal, and you worship Lord Nrsingha Dev to enhance your bhakti to Radha and Krishna, which is what these prayers are exemplifying here. Bhaktivinoda says, here, the last line, at the lotus feet of Lord Nrsingha Dev, I hope that he will mercifully purify my heart and give me the desire to serve Lord Krishna. So, he's worshipping Lord Nrsingha Dev. Generally, we worship Lord Nrsingha Dev to help our worship of Lord Krishna. So if that's our goal, that's where we'll go. No, I'm glad you... I'm glad you brought that up. So maybe we can find out more about his own planet. But as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we worship Lord Nrsingha Dev to enhance our devotion to Radha and Krishna. So, yes. So here in this prayer, Bhaktivinoda Thakur lists all his impurities and how he's praying to Lord Nrsingha Dev. Please remove them. And the first line he says, my 6 enemies. You know the 6 enemies: lust and greed, and anger, and envy, and madness. So he says, these 6 enemies live perpetually in my heart. They're always there. And as well as the desire for fame and duplicity. And so the mood of praying to Lord Nrsingha Dev is like, I can't get rid of this. You have to help me get rid of this. It's like they'll perpetually reside there. I mean, it's like there's nothing I can do on my own to get rid of them. They'll always be there. Okay, the next prayer. Kandiya Nrsingha Pade Bhagibo Kokan Nirapade Nabadvipe Jugala Bhajan Bhoya Bhoya Phoya Yan Vra Dharshane Se Hari Prasana Hoibe Kobe Mora Doya Kori. Weeping, I will beg at the lotus feet of Lord Nrsingha Dev for the benediction of worshipping Radha and Krishna in Navadvip, perfectly safe and free from all difficulties. When will this Lord Hari, whose terrible form strikes fear into fear itself, ever become pleased and show his mercy? So this is nice in regard to this discussion of Lord Nrsingha Dev having his own planet, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, I want to worship Radha and Krishna in Navadvip. That's my desire. So I'm praying to Lord Nrsingha Dev to fulfill that desire. So that confirms the point that that's generally how Gaudiya Vaishnavas approach Lord Nrsingha Dev, that you can remove anarthas and fulfill my desire, and that desire being to worship Radha and Krishna. And of course, we worship Lord Nrsingha Dev as the remover of obstacles. That's his position. And what are the obstacles? The obstacles on the path of worshipping Radha and Krishna. So, yes. Yajyapi Bhishan Murti Dushta Jiva Prati Pralad Di Krishna Bhakta Jani Bhadra Ati Kobe Ja Prasana Hoy Se Kripa Vachan Bachane Nirbhai Koribe E Mudha Akinchane. Even though Lord Nrsingha is terrifying towards the sinful souls, he offers great auspiciousness unto the devotees of Lord Krishna, headed by Prahlad Maharaj. When will he be pleased to speak words of compassion unto me, a worthless fool, and thereby make me fearless? So this is nice. You can be happy that you're a devotee because you're on Krishna's good side. And if you're not a devotee, then you end up on Krishna's bad side. Or you may end up on Krishna's bad side, especially if you offend devotees, or especially if you commit violence to devotees. And there are many stories in which devotees were in dangerous situations and they called out to Lord Nrsingha Dev. And it dissipated the difficulty. So we turn to Lord Nrsingha Dev when we are helpless. And helpless both in terms of external situations and helpless both internally in dealing with our own anarthas. So I remember when I became a devotee, during those days, as hippies we didn't like the police because we always had drugs. We were always doing something illegal. So seeing the police was like, get away. These guys don't like us. They're going to arrest us or harass us. And then I remember after I became a devotee, I liked the police because I had nothing to hide from them, and oftentimes if there was trouble, they would protect us. So it's a little bit like that. When you become a devotee, then it's like, okay, I'm on Lord Nrsingha Dev's good side. But if I'm not a devotee, I could end up on his bad side, especially if I disturb devotees. So he's there to protect us. And in this prayer, Bhaktivinoda saying, I'm praying to him to make me fearless. And he's saying, when will he be pleased to speak words of compassion unto me and thereby make me fearless? So when will he reveal the proper mentality from inside so that I can be fearless, especially in my service? It's not, there are a lot of fearless people, so-called fearless people. They'll climb Mount Everest, they'll surf 100-foot waves or bigger. They'll do crazy things where they risk their life. And they say that there's certain people have a certain DNA that they have to do things of that nature. They have to do things where they risk their life. It's their nature. And there's many things that people do to risk their lives in sports. But they do it anyway. But fearlessness, we don't want to be foolishly fearless, where we can enter Maya's realm and think we won't be touched. But we want to be fearless in our surrender to Krishna, right? We're not afraid to hold back, and not afraid to take chances to push forward Krishna consciousness. That kind of fearlessness we want, but we don't want to be fearless in the face of Maya and think we won't be touched. And we don't want to be foolishly fearless. But actually, in this sense, he's saying, I want to be fearless in the sense that I know you'll protect me. So that's an aspect of my bhakti, that if I am afraid, even though Krishna will protect me, then that's a weakness in my bhakti. It's a weakness in my faith. So let me have faith that you will take care of me, you will protect me, that I can put my life on the line, I can put myself on the line, and then you will always be there to help me. Not that I'll become fearless so I can surf a 100-foot wave or ski down a huge mountain or climb a difficult mountain. That's employing Krishna in our sense gratification. So that's not the mood of a devotee. But I want to have faith in your protection. And so you could say Lord Nrsingha is our go-to God when we're in danger. Right? That's so. We feel protected by Lord Nrsingha Dev. In the prayers that we chant, Ito Nrsingha Parato Nrsingha Jito Yuto Yame Tato Nrsingha Bahir Nrsingha Hridaye Nrsingha Nrsingha Madim Sharanam Prapade. The translation of that verse is that I see Lord Nrsingha Dev. I see him outside, and I see him inside, and I see him here, I see him there. Everywhere I go, I see Lord Nrsingha Dev. Which, of course, is the vision of a pure devotee, to see Krishna everywhere, but also that means I'm protected everywhere. As I see Lord Nrsingha Dev, it's said that for a pure devotee, he can close his eyes, and he's always on the path of Krishna consciousness, in the sense that he sees Krishna everywhere, so he's never off the path. Everywhere he goes, he sees Krishna. So it's said in Bhagavatam, even if you go with your eyes closed, you'll always be on the path. So a devotee, pure devotee, sees Lord Nrsingha Dev everywhere manifest, just like Prahlad Maharaj would. Hiranyakashipu said, "Is your Lord here? Is he there? Is he in the floor? Is he in the sky?" Or wherever Hiranyakashipu was madly asking, "Where's your Lord?" And then he finally said, "Is he in the pillar?" And when Prahlad Maharaj said, "Yes, he's in the pillar," it's because Prahlad Maharaj saw him. I would imagine he saw him everywhere, but specifically he saw that form of Lord Nrsingha Dev in the pillar. He said, "Yes, he's in the pillar." So, is he here? Is he there? Yes, he's everywhere. Ito Nrsingha Parato Nrsingha. Yeah, I see Lord Nrsingha Dev everywhere. That's the attitude of a devotee. So I'm protected everywhere. And there's a nice story about how Prahlad was protected, how Lord Nrsingha Dev came. Hiranyakashipu was so upset with his son, because his son was on the side of Vishnu, and Vishnu was his enemy. And Hiranyakashipu wanted to become immortal because he wanted to fight Lord Vishnu, and if he could become immortal, then Lord Vishnu couldn't kill him, so they could just fight and fight. And he thought he could kill Lord Vishnu, like atheists think they can kill God by their theories and philosophy and so-called science. So he thought, if I'm immortal, then I can fight Lord Vishnu, and I can't lose the battle. Right? So, because Prahlad was a devotee, he just couldn't deal with that, and he was so angry. So what to do? So his sister came. Her name was Holika, and she was also from this demoniac line. She said, "I once got a benediction after doing some austerity that I could enter fire and not be burned. So why don't we create a fire, and I'll bring Prahlad in the fire." I'll say, "Look, Prahlad, let's go in the fire." I'll bring him in, or force him in, or hold on to him. And he'll die, and I'll come out. And so I'll assist you. And Hiranyakashipu thought, that's an excellent idea, let's do it. Being the demon that he was, kill his own son. I mean, it's rare in this world that someone would kill their own son. And this is Kali Yuga. So anyway, he was the demon of demons. He was your demon's demon. He was the demon to look up to. If you want to be a demon, he's your role model. So they built a fire, they put ghee on it, and she brought Prahlad in to the fire, and when the fire had burned, it burned her, not him. So he came out unscathed, and she came out as ashes. And so Prahlad said, when we went in that fire, I saw my aunt burning to ashes, and I saw that someone had come and put like a covering of ice all over me. And so I didn't burn. So there is some practical understanding of that Prahlad Maharaj was not just mystically protected, but there was he was covered by some mystic covering of ice. So he was untouched. It was like inside a what do they call that? Something can't be burned. Like you have a safe. Fireproof. Yeah, he was in a fireproof. Yeah, it's early in the morning. My mind is still trying to wake up. It was a fireproof jacket. Someone had come and put Lord Nrsingha Dev come and put a fireproof jacket. So isn't that interesting? So what's also interesting is that we understand that Prahlad was not afraid. And you could say he was not afraid to die, but you could also say he was not afraid because he knew Lord Nrsingha Dev would protect him, which Lord Nrsingha Dev did. So that's this verse, Ito Nrsingha Parato Nrsingha. I see Lord Nrsingha Dev everywhere. So I'm confident of his protection. And as we know, Yedatam Mam Prapadyate, Krishna is reciprocating according to your mood. And sometimes you might say, well, I was in difficulty and the Lord didn't protect me, or he didn't protect me as much as I wanted him to protect me, or I have all these anarthas and they're still there. Why am I not being protected? Well, it will depend on your faith and intensity of prayer. So obviously Prahlad had this complete faith in Krishna's protection. Yato yami tato Nrsingha. Wherever I go, I see Lord Nrsingha Dev. Ito, here. Ito Nrsingha Parato. Here, there. Riddhi, bahir, in my heart, outside. It's like, so obviously, if you're seeing Lord Nrsingha Dev everywhere, then you have full faith in his protection. And so Krishna, he's interesting. We have to understand how Krishna works and how he thinks. And Krishna's thinking is, okay, you have faith in me, then I will manifest your faith in protecting you or uprooting those desires because you have faith, and I'll do that. But you lack faith because you don't have faith, then I won't do that. So if we doubt Krishna's faith, Lord Nrsingha Dev's faith, he'll reciprocate with those doubts. So you don't believe it? Okay. So I'll show you. I will prove that your lack of faith is a reality. You don't believe I will protect you, I will prove by not protecting you. That's how Krishna works. So when we have the faith that you will protect me, you will purify me, and then because we have that faith, we are willing to put ourselves sometimes on the line, and we pray fervently to the Lord to purify us, and then we see that he takes care of us. Maybe not the way we would take care of ourselves. We first have to enter the fire to see him protect us. We'd rather not enter the fire, but he likes to reciprocate. And so faith is one of the ways Krishna reciprocates. He reciprocates with surrender in different ways, and faith is one of them. And one of the 6 signs of surrender is to have faith that Krishna will maintain and Krishna will protect. So if I don't have that faith, it means I'm not yet, by definition, surrendered. So that's an aspect of it. So obviously Prahlad, he was so surrendered that when his father was torturing him and trying to kill him, he was okay with it. And the other thing we learned, well, we learned many things from Prahlad, but one of the things we learned from Prahlad was just so amazing. And we were discussing yesterday how really one of the main things to focus on in the Leela of Lord Nrsingha Dev is Prahlad, and how Prahlad dealt with it, and also the teachings of Prahlad. Because there are many teachings and many prayers he prayed to Lord Nrsingha Dev. He also taught his friends, young boys. And they're quite elevated teachings for young boys. But one of the things that I find amazing, which is not really highlighted, at least in the Srimad Bhagavatam to my recollection, is, well, it's highlighted in a sense when Lord Nrsingha Dev said, "What do you want?" And he said, "I don't want to ask you for anything, I just want to serve you." And Lord Nrsingha Dev said, "No, ask." And so, okay, if I must ask, then liberate my father. Which is interesting. And you might think, well, it's not interesting because devotee's compassionate, but his father was the one who tried to kill him. Not with just like a little poison in the prasadam, you eat it and you just are sick for a half hour and die, or not by some medicine that would just put you to sleep. That would be a humane way, quote unquote, humane way of killing Prahlad. If you really want to kill your son, at least, do it nicely. No, it was torture. Elephants running over him, putting him in hotkey and so forth. And after all of this, Prahlad is not angry with his father. Now that's amazing, isn't it? So that's something I think we should take note of. He had no enmity, and not only did he have no enmity, he prayed for the liberation of his father. Okay, sometimes we might forgive somebody, but to pray for their benefit, that's a whole other universe. So, and then we see in the prayers of Prahlad how he was praying to the Lord that I'm happy myself, but even though I'm happy in Krishna consciousness, but I'm not happy that other people are suffering. So Prahlad is really a perfect example for us as preachers of Krishna consciousness, that people may harm us, torment us in so many ways, and we still go on day after day, year after year, and we're even willing to help the people who tormented us, like Nityananda Prabhu was willing to go back and preach to Jagai and Madhai, even though Madhai had tried to kill him, or at least injure him. So Prahlad sets this example. So he has no enmity at all towards his father, and that means his heart is full of compassion, and he has no enmity towards anyone. And because he has no enmity, he can be he's in the perfect situation to share Krishna consciousness, and that's what he did. And so you could say Prahlad Maharaj's heart overflows with compassion for the fallen souls. And you can't hate people and love people at the same time. And so to preach Krishna consciousness means you really can't have enmity towards anyone. You can avoid envious people, but it's not that you attack envious people. If they're attacking us, if they're attacking other devotees, yes, we protect our God brothers. But in general, we wouldn't attack them. We would only attack them with a philosophy. So here's a good question. Himani says, can we ever become like Prahlad? Well, let's start first with this idea that we should desire to become like Prahlad. If we don't desire, then how would we ever become that way? But I was thinking about this the other day, that because we're covered, it's so hard to imagine being like Prahlad Maharaj. But let's understand that in a perfectly purified position, that is how we would be. That is the nature of the soul, the pure nature of the soul. So yes, and maybe we could answer the question by saying you already are like Prahlad, it's just covered. On the stage of Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that when you come to the stage of bhava, that your love for Krishna begins to develop, or your emotion. You have all these emotions, like we have emotions materially. We see something beautiful in the material world and we become emotional about it. So we have so many emotions in relation to material things. And so Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, when you achieve the stage of bhava, you have all those emotions towards Krishna, but you also have emotions towards everyone else. If bhava means emotion, so what's your emotion towards everyone else? That's compassion. So when we're on the stage of bhava, that compassion becomes manifest. And we were saying, I think yesterday or in another class, how Prabhupada, we said yesterday that Prabhupada's mind and heart were always focused on non-devotees, how he can save them. So, yes. Now, I like this question, because inherent in this question is a doubt, can I ever become like Prahlad Maharaj? And I think the second part of the question, or I'll ask the second part, is how do I relate to Prahlad Maharaj in my current position? And then the third part of the question is, how do I relate to any pure devotee who's performing what seems to be, or thinking or acting in ways which seem to be impossible for myself or anyone in this world to think and act like? And if it's impossible, then our human nature may say, why even try, because it's impossible. And it would be foolish to try for something that you can't achieve. So Prahlad he has so much faith and so much devotion, and there's no enmity in his heart. I could never be that way. So I just accept myself how I am, and I continue to be the way I am. No, it's not like that. I mean, you have to accept yourself as you are. But Prahlad Maharaj is meant to inspire you to become like him, not to make you feel hopeless that you could become like him. Because that's also possible, that you may look at Prahlad Maharaj's activities and become hopeless. Oh, I could never be that way. If that's what a pure devotee is, maybe I'm in the wrong movement. Maybe I should just become a good Christian, because then, I can go to McDonald's and the movies and I'll still be a good Christian. But to be a good Hare Krishna, if it means becoming like Prahlad Maharaj, then I'll never be like that. So we're not supposed to think that way, although some of us sometimes may think that way. Right? This is activities, they're way beyond me. So we're meant to get inspired by Prahlad. And what it means, is you take that inspiration. So now, wherever you're at, maybe you feel, I just don't have that much compassion towards people. I don't care that people are suffering. Let them suffer, they deserve it, it's their karma. I have enough trouble of my own. Maybe you might think like that. I'm not saying you do, but as an example. But then you hear about Prahlad Maharaj and you get inspired that maybe I could get a drop of what Prahlad Maharaj has. That's how you take it. Maybe I could add one drop to my water. See, I have some water here, and we added some essential oils to this water. So this water tastes like grapefruit a little bit. Right? So here's my water, my consciousness. Maybe I could add a drop of Prahlad Maharaj's compassion. I definitely couldn't digest the whole bottle. There's no way I could even get the whole bottle in here. But maybe by hearing his Leela, I could put one drop, and I take a sip of that compassionate water. And maybe a little desire in my heart now to share Krishna consciousness with someone else. Maybe a little better than I was yesterday. Not that I'm going to become... No, now I'm like Prahlad Maharaj. I drank Prahlad Maharaj water. No, it's not going to be that way. So we're meant to take these activities as inspiration. When could a drop of Prahlad's compassion enter my heart? Oh Lord Nrsingha Dev, I pray that the compassion that Prahlad Maharaj had, some of that will rub off, and I can be a better devotee. I can be kinder. I can have a stronger desire to share Krishna consciousness. Like that. That's how we take it. Otherwise, we just think, oh, that's impossible, and throw out the baby with the bathwater. Just forget the whole thing, and it's just a nice story. And I read this story every year on Lord Nrsingha Dev's Appearance Day, and absolutely nothing happens to me. So you have, Thakur Haridas. Thakur Haridas is similar. Ambarish Maharaj is similar. They were, all three of them, Lord Jesus Christ, all four of them, someone was trying to kill them. And they had no enmity towards that person or people who were trying to kill them. And so, we read that and we think, this is like in another league that I don't think I could ever enter into. But in order to spread Krishna consciousness, we need some compassion. We need a high level of tolerance. We need to overlook the faults of others and just try to give them Krishna consciousness. We need to be extremely tolerant with people. So from these stories, we get inspiration. And with that inspiration, we get a little more compassion, a little more tolerance, a little more something. And that's how we take those stories. So I skipped Krishna Karshini's question. And so she's reminding me to go back. Srila Prabhupada introduced, pray to Lord Nrsingha Dev for protection. I was wondering if we should pray to him to protect our material body or protect us spiritually or both. Well, initially, when these prayers were given to us, Prabhupada asked us to chant them because when I joined, we were not yet chanting these prayers. And there was an attempt, apparently, I don't know the details, there was an attempt on the Los Angeles temple, it must have been 1970, a bomb attempt, or at least that was the rumor. So Prabhupada gave us these Nrsingha mantras to chant. In other words, these mantras existed, but he said, chant them. And then it became the standard that we would chant them after every kirtan. So many times a day, we were praying to Lord Nrsingha Dev. And when Prabhupada gave us those prayers, he said, when we pray, we will pray for the safety of our movement and the safety, well-being of our spiritual master. So that's what we were told when we got those prayers. That was the mood when we're praying in the temple. We're praying for the protection of the movement because we could be attacked by antagonistic people. That's possible. People won't like us. And so pray for the protection. Pray that we can push on Krishna consciousness. You know, in many countries, Krishna consciousness has opened up, and in some countries it is closing down. So we pray to Lord Nrsingha Dev, please protect us so that we can preach. Please protect me so that our preaching can go on successfully without government stopping us. And in places, there are places where the government has asked devotees to leave and so forth. And then he said, pray for the well-being and the health and protection of your spiritual master. So, I think it's good to know that's what Prabhupada gave. Now, in terms of praying to Lord Nrsingha Dev to protect our body or to protect us spiritually, it's certainly a devotee can pray for anything if he's praying in the right mood. When Prabhupada's mood was, you can pray, but if it's something personal, then you should end your prayer or begin your prayer with the words, if you like. Oh, I'm sick, please pray. If you like, help me, then I could do more service. But there is a letter in which Prabhupada instructed a devotee about physical ailments, and he said, you go to the doctor and you pray to Krishna. So you have two tracks. Because you could say, well, I'll just pray to Krishna and not go to the doctor, or I'll just go to the doctor and I don't need to pray to Krishna. I don't want to bother him, I'll bother the doctor. The Prabhupada said you do both. So, but your mood of praying, Krishna, cure me, what's your mood? So I can serve you. It's not cure me so I can enjoy, my digestion is bad, I can't enjoy ice cream. Please cure me, Lord Nrsingha Dev. Cure my digestion. Put your fire in my stomach so I can enjoy ice cream. So that would be improper. So, it's always about why you're doing anything. Nothing's wrong if you do it for the right reason. So should it protect our body if your body needs protection? Yeah. We have a disciple in Ukraine named Alexander. And Alexander drives like a race car driver, as fast and as dangerous. And we try to get Alexander to drive slowly, but it's like he can't drive slow somehow or other. It's not part of his persona and nature. And so yes, we pray for the protection of all the devotees when we get in his car, every time we meditate on Lord Nrsingha Dev. But I think next time I go to Ukraine, I'll make sure I don't drive in his car. It's quite dangerous, actually. And we try to explain that to him, but I don't know, he seems to be fearless. So, sometimes when we take a journey, we pray to Lord Nrsingha Dev, I like that. So, but why are we praying? Please protect our bodies, protect the bodies of the other devotees. We want to serve you. And yes, protect me spiritually. So, you see, the thing, Krishna Karshini, to understand is, we have a relationship with Krishna. And my wife was telling me, she did a workshop a couple of weeks ago on couples therapy. And they said one of the things that ruins a relationship is when you're keeping score. Okay, I did this, this, and this, but he only did this and this, so he owes me. And then I become upset because he didn't do it, so I'm ahead on the scorecard. So I feel that. So they're saying that if you have a relationship like that, it's pretty certain that relationship is not going to work. You can't have a scorecard relationship. And I find it so interesting because that's what Prahlad Maharaj says to Lord Nrsingha Dev when Lord Nrsingha Dev says, what do you want? He said, I'm not a businessman that it's tit for tat. So the point is, anytime a devotee is praying to the Lord, it's always in the mood of, I just want to give. So my prayer, if I'm asking something, I'm only asking for something which is enabling me to give to you. I'm not asking something for myself. That's what pure bhakti is all about. And isn't it interesting that the same idea comes up in relationships in this world, that experts who've studied relationships realize this doesn't work. And in a sense you could say that's the central point of any good relationship, whether it's with Krishna or with a person in this world. And everything I've read about couples who've stayed together 50 years, 75 years, is that they always tried to serve, outdo the other person, do more. That's what kept their relationship together. So it works in material relationships. We shouldn't look at our relationship with Krishna as something uniquely different. Krishna's a person, you're a person. You have emotions, he has emotions. It's a real relationship. And so it's the same principle applies. That anything that we pray for to Lord Nrsingha Dev or our spiritual master or any of the forms of the Lord is only for service. So if you're praying for protection, Krishna, I'd like to serve you, my mission is not finished. Please help me. So also, Prabhupada said we could pray like that. My dear Lord, the mission of our spiritual master is not finished. Please take care of him. Please protect him. Please help him. We could pray like that. So I have godbrothers that feel like they need 20 more years. They're my age, and I say, I need 20 more years. So they're praying, Krishna, let me live to be 88. 89, 90, something like that. It's going to take me 20 more years. I feel that way also. That a lot of what I'm doing, for it to fructify and be stable and have devotees working with me fully equipped and well and have an established organization, if we had 20 years from now, it'll be really going well. But in establishing any organization, the first years of it are the most difficult. And once you hit a certain threshold, it stabilizes and it just naturally grows. So I feel the same way. Yeah, I need 20 years to like really, get everything together. My disciples will be mature, and they'll be more self-sufficient and so forth. So yes, we can pray that way for our spiritual master. Let's give him a long life so that he can fulfill his mission. So the Prabhupada asked us for that. So that's the idea. In any pure relationship, you're not keeping a scorecard. Well, Krishna, I distributed so many books for so many years in the winter and in the hot summer, and now, I have nothing. This isn't fair. The devotee doesn't think like that. Sometimes people say, do you ever regret giving your youth to Krishna now and you're older and you gave up your education and you're more challenged to maintain yourself and so forth? And the devotee will say, no, it's not tit for tat. I never regret surrendering my life to Krishna. That was the greatest thing I ever did, and I do it now, and I always will. So that's the idea. So any any question of how to pray, how to approach Krishna, it all has to be couched with this understanding that I'm just trying to serve. Right? And so any prayer is not in a tit-for-tat mood. It's like, what do I need to serve? We have another comment somewhere. You remember the history of the previous life of Prahlad Maharaj. It looks like he was not a special or advanced person. For me, it is unbelievable that he achieved such a high position in a close relationship with Lord Nrsingha Dev. That story of Prahlad Maharaj is that he had a fight with his girlfriend and he was upset. It's in a previous life, and he had to, I believe the story was he had to he stayed in the temple all night and fasted, and he was just so upset. And so, he had to sweep the temple, clean it, and slept there. And he, he got the mercy. There's also a story of a rat or something was on, his tail caught on fire, and he was jumping around. And so Krishna took that as an offering of a lamp, and, like that. So, the understanding of those stories is that they magnify, or magnify is not the right word, they exemplify the power of devotional service, that this could happen. So, to think that Prahlad Maharaj is an ordinary person, that, I'm sure there are many people who have fasted and slept in temples, homeless people, and the same thing didn't happen. So, Prahlad Maharaj is a special person, but that story is there to show us the power of devotional service, and how if we somehow or other please Lord Nrsingha Dev, like yesterday we fasted to please Lord Nrsingha Dev, so somehow or other we can please Lord Nrsingha Dev, get his mercy, that we can become great devotees like Prahlad Maharaj. So that story, of course Prabhupada didn't tell that story, but that story is meant to build faith. That you see, the point is, if you get the blessings of Lord Nrsingha Dev, the blessings of your spiritual masters, blessings of Prabhupada, then those blessings, the way I like to look at those blessings are like steroids. I've never taken steroids, but I've heard that when you take steroids, it's like all the pain in your body goes, and you feel like you're 17 years old, you have all this energy, and it's like you have a new body. So you may have lots of pain in your body and may not have much energy, but when you take the steroids, that all changes. So mercy is like that. It's like you may be whatever, not very Krishna conscious, not very inspired, not very this or that, but when you get mercy, everything changes. And so the mercy is doing everything. So this story exemplifies what happens when you get mercy. You become such a great devotee. And sometimes in these transcendental leelas, the Lord puts his devotee through various situations which appear to be ordinary, just to show that ordinary people can become Krishna conscious. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he took the role of an ordinary person. So, to think that Prahlad Maharaj was ordinary because of his past activities, that we can think that way. Or we can also think it was Leela, but in either case, the instruction of that Leela is that you too also can become pure if you get the mercy of the Lord, because that mercy is so powerful. And then that relates to Himena's question, can I ever be like Prahlad Maharaj? Well, if you get Prahlad Maharaj's mercy, Lord Nrsingha Dev's mercy, you can be like them. That's possible. My favorite tea, cinnamon. Is this cinnamon sticks? Yeah, you boil cinnamon sticks, and you add some honey or something. It's very healthy, and to me it tastes like it comes from another planet. Prabhupada said that this planet is like a prison house. Durga said, but the superintendent of the prison is so nice that he still, even though you've turned your back on the government and you've broken their laws, they have all these nice things in the prison, all these nice herbs and nice vegetables and fruits and flowers. It's like he still gives you all these nice things. The paints the walls nice colors and everything's nice. You look at the world and say this world is horrible. Yeah, if you took away all the human beings, it wouldn't be that bad. So it's horrible because we made it horrible, but Krishna didn't make it horrible. I mean, you'd say he made disease, this and that, but a lot of this is a result of Kali Yuga. So, you go out in nature and you say, oh, it's so beautiful. Well, that's how Krishna made it. So he made it beautiful, even though we turned our back on him, he still made this world nice, and so many nice things for us, including cinnamon tea. Krishna Karshan is saying, for me it's unbelievable that he achieved such a position. That's the whole point, that mercy does things which are extraordinary. So yeah, it should be unbelievable when someone gets mercy. They do unbelievable things, just like Prabhupada did. He did what no one ever did before. So Prabhupada is also doing something unbelievable. And Prabhupada said, it was possible by the mercy of my spiritual master, like within his instructions were the potential for unbelievable things to happen, and I just followed those instructions and then it unfolded. And just like today, yesterday we had the opening of the temple here, and today also. And so many people came, like from everywhere, and I saw so many old God brothers were coming, and people, and also I understood there's a lot of local people from Las Vegas coming, and I was telling Devananda, I said, when you open a temple, it just attracts so much will happen, so many people will come, and so many things will manifest, They'll just happen. And not because of you, but because Krishna is just pleased, and now there's a temple, so everyone who wants to be Krishna conscious will gradually, like a magnet, be drawn, and you'll just watch things happen. You won't even understand. Of course, you'll get the credit for doing it. But when Prabhupada was given the credit, he said, it's not my credit. And Vedavyas Priya was mentioning this point yesterday in class, and Prabhupada was so humble, he said, it was actually the credit of my disciples. They did everything. It wasn't my credit. So Prabhupada lived in that humility. He lived in that dependence on Krishna's mercy, and he was seeing Krishna's mercy. It wasn't an artificial humility. He was seeing it, and that's why he said that I'm watching it happen. Many times Prabhupada said, I left. I thought I was giving up something, and now Krishna's given me so much more. So Prabhupada was living through the mercy that Krishna was pouring on him, both in terms of facility to spread Krishna consciousness, taking care of him, and sending so many devotees to help him. So, it's not that we take credit for doing anything, but if we make an effort and Krishna gives mercy, then lots of amazing things can happen around us. And Prabhupada inspired so many disciples that they did so many amazing things. And they did things which Prabhupada admittedly said, he couldn't have done himself. A lot of things we did were not things that Prabhupada personally would have done, because he wasn't 20 years old, and he wasn't from America, and he didn't think like we did. Obviously, he did things we could never do, but there's certain things we did, like run around on the streets and sell so many books. So many books were selling. Prabhupada was also selling books, but he was an older man, and we were young, and we knew how to talk to people, and so Prabhupada, he appreciated that, and so he appreciated that as Krishna's mercy, so that he was able to do things which he admittedly said I could never do alone. So that's how we see it, and so we don't see it as our ability. We say, okay, Krishna shows his mercy, then I can just watch these amazing things happen. And so it's nice that you said it's unbelievable. But the thing we want to believe is that we could also do these things if we have mercy. So, we have to understand mercy has its own nature. So whoever gets mercy, that person will act in special ways. And it's not based on their material position or qualification. It's simply that they qualify themselves to get mercy, and because they got mercy, then when you get mercy, you're watching things happen. Krishna's working through you, so it's not your potency anymore. It's Krishna's potency, and if Krishna's potency is working through you, then you're just going to watch yourself do amazing things, basically. It's like almost like you're watching yourself as a third party, and these things are happening, and you will have the realization that I never could imagine that I did these things. And then Chaitanya Charitamrita says that when you have the mercy, then it becomes easy, even if it's difficult. So then you'll do phenomenal things, and you'll think, well, that was easy. How did that happen? My realization, what's difficult in Krishna consciousness is to try to do it without mercy. Then little things become difficult. When you don't have mercy, everything's hard. But when you have mercy, then big things are quite easy. So actually, my realization is it's easier to do big things than it is to do small things. Because small things means we're not doing things properly, we're not getting the mercy, or the relationships are not lined up, or the vision is not good. But once the inspiration is there, the vision is there, relationships are good, then the mercy comes, and then you find that being successful is much easier than not being successful. Even though so much more was done and so much more work was done, what was actually easier to do than keeping things small, which may have been very difficult because we didn't have the right attitude. That's my experience. On book distribution, I always say it's easier to distribute a lot of books than a small amount. Because when you're distributing a small amount, it means you're probably not that enthusiastic and you're not in the right consciousness. And when you're enthusiastic in the right consciousness, the books just fly. Like you don't even know how you're doing it. You don't even know what you're saying, but everyone's taking a book. So it's actually easier to distribute a lot of books. You might think it's harder. You're pounding the pavement, really pushing. But your actual experience will be, if you distribute more books, it was actually easier than less books. Because less books, you were not in the right mood. Gin Fen, cinnamon tea. You boil cinnamon sticks. This is nectar from the gods. You can make when I come to China. In China, they make me tea with like 20 herbs. Not very tasty, but very healthy. Let's read what Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. His next prayer. He wants Lord Nrsingha Dev to say this. He will say, "Dear child, sit down freely and live happily here in Sri Gauranga Dham. May you nicely worship the divine couple, and may you develop loving attachment for their holy names. By the mercy of my devotees, all obstacles are cast far away. With a purified heart, just perform the worship of Radha and Krishna, for such worship overflows with sweet nectar." So this is nice. This is a nice prayer. Because in what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is doing now, he's visualizing how he wants Lord Nrsingha Dev to bless him. So basically he's saying, I would hope that you would bless me in a way that all the obstacles that I'm facing would be cast far away. That kind of blessing I want. So he's like visualizing I'm praying to Lord Nrsingha Dev, and I'm visualizing that he's coming and saying, okay, by the mercy of the devotees, may all your anarthas be. May you be able to sit down in Navadvip and worship Radha and Krishna. So what's nice about this, I like, is that he's visualizing, which means he's expecting this to happen. And sometimes, it's late. She's watching from Australia. It must be late at night. Huh? Yes, kind of, sort of, maybe. So, sometimes we pray, but we don't actually have faith that Krishna is going to fulfill that prayer. And as we were saying earlier, he'll respond with your faith. So here, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is you could say he's what we call in modern times doing a visualization. Amrita. Yeah, I'm sorry. We had another Amrita from Australia, yeah. So he's visualizing that this will happen. He's waiting, he's expecting. And so Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written a song, Kabhi Habe Bolo Se Dina More, and it's the same idea. He's visualizing with expectation. When will this happen? So it's not a fear, will it happen? I hope it happens. What if it doesn't happen? It's an expectation. I'm just waiting anxiously for when it happens. So it's a different mentality. So when you pray, if you pray in this way, the expectation, what I'm praying for, I'm expecting, I'm waiting for it to happen. It's a manifestation of faith. If we're praying, I hope it happens. If it doesn't happen, then I don't know what I'm going to do, and so forth. That prayer is out of fear that it may not happen. So it's showing a lack of faith. And then sometimes devotees wonder, say, well, why isn't Krishna fulfilling my prayers? And I say, well, it may be that you lack faith. And that's why. So that's something to consider. But this is a good example. He's like speaking in present tense, you know. When will this happen? When you will tell me this, and you will make this happen. So I'm anxiously awaiting for that. So I like that mood. Saying this, will that Lord delightedly place His own divine lotus feet on my head? In other words, expectation. Will you say this? Will you remove obstacles? Will you say everything is good? And then will you place your feet on my head? So he's like, this is what he wants. So he's showing Krishna, this is what I want. And so if you show Krishna, this is what you want, Krishna's going to help you get it. That's the point. I will experience sublime love for the divine couple and undergo the ecstatic transformations called sattvika. He's talking about now coming to the stage of bhava. Falling on the ground, I will roll about on the floor of Sri Sri Rupa Lagu Bhagavan Rita. Floor of Sri. Maybe he means it's Sri Dham Mayapur, I'll fall on the floor. That's actually it's mentioned here in Padma Purana, but I don't understand exactly. But the source of this, I thought this prayer could be from Padma Purana. But anyway, it's the same mood it's the same mood that he's anticipating. When will this happen? You could say visualizing it, thinking, when will it happen? When Radha and Krishna will come, they'll touch my head. So this is important. Because a lot of teachers say that whatever you want, you should visualize. So naturally people will visualize what they want. Because they're not devotees, what do they want? They want this house by the ocean, they want this beautiful family, they want a lot of money in the bank and so forth. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, you could say, is doing visualization here of when will Radha and Krishna put their feet on my head, when will I roll in the dirt on the bank of the Ganga, when will I manifest ecstatic symptoms like tears from the eyes, hair standing on end, voice choking, like I'm tired of being an ordinary person, I'm tired of being a struggling devotee. When will Krishna bestow His mercy? When will Lord Nrsingha Dev come, touch my head, purify my heart? So these kinds of things, this is how we're supposed to be thinking. It's not, someone might say, but isn't that sahajiya? So you can expect whatever's in your heart. If your heart is genuine, it's not sahajiya. If you understand that only by mercy can you achieve these higher states, then to want to achieve these higher states, if you are strictly following Krishna consciousness, then if you're not following, then you're your prayer should be, benedict me so I can follow the four regular principles and chant my rounds. If you're not even doing that and you're praying, when will I roll in the dust and experience sattvika bhava, it's a little presumptuous. But if you're following strictly, then naturally you should be desiring these things. Otherwise, what are you going to desire? That house by the ocean, that beautiful Mercedes-Benz, that beautiful husband or wife, that superposition in the world. And, because that's what the self-development gurus say you should visualize. You should have a picture. Or like if you're on a diet, they say put a picture of the person that you want to look like. So, you have this vision, and the vision is what inspires you, and the vision is what attracts things. And, a lot of people have visions based on fear. I'm afraid I'll end up on the street. I'm afraid I'll be sick. And then that's actually what they're visualizing. So they're visualizing their fears, and then their fears start to manifest. So visualization is kind of a natural phenomena. So as devotees, then we should visualize higher states of bhakti. When, whatever the next stage is, when will that day come? Maybe it's just what he's first praying. When will these 6 enemies leave my heart? When will that mercy come? Maybe you're not going to pray, when will I roll in the dust of Braj or Navadvip? Maybe that's a prayer for Baba, coming to Baba. Maybe you're far from Baba, and you need to pray for something a little closer to where you're at, like the next level. But to desire to come to these higher levels is not bad when, as Prabhupada said, when you're qualified. So your prayers should reflect some qualification, but they should also prayers also reflect, like Krishna Karshan is saying, the impossible. Like, okay, I'm ready for the impossible. When, Krishna, when I chant your holy name will I cry? I fall asleep, but I want to cry. So when will I cry? So so we can pray that way, because that's genuine. You actually want to cry when you chant. You want to taste the holy name. You want to feel something. So that's genuine. So if it's genuine, you can pray for it. So that's what we learn from these prayers. There's some comments here from Linda. Thank you for explaining us so well about the importance of the intention and what we pray and what we do, and humility. Because we are no one to judge anybody or the mercy that person gets, because we don't know its heart. Yeah, that's true. And also, we're supposed to be focused on our own deficiencies. Plus, a person may not be doing well, but it doesn't mean that today is not their day, that today they get mercy and they change. People do change, both for the better and both for the worse. And it doesn't mean that just because yesterday was a good day, today's going to be a good day also. Or because yesterday was a bad day, today won't be. So when somebody gets, everybody potentially can become a pure devotee, and everybody potentially can get Krishna's mercy. I just met one of my godbrothers yesterday. And he's a book distributor. So we would distribute books in 1974, 73, 75. And he's probably 70 years old now, shaved head, Sika. And he said, every day I go out to college campuses and I distribute books. He's still doing it, so it's like, he's still got that mercy to be able to go out at this age, and he's been doing it his whole life as a devotee. And he's not proud. He's very humble, and he was one of the best book distributors. And So who knows who gets the mercy, and some bhakta could come, and a year later they're temple president somewhere because they're so enthusiastic. So don't think you can't get the mercy, and don't think someone else can't get the mercy, and don't think you can't lose the mercy, and someone else can't lose the mercy. You said yesterday to pray to Lord Nrsingha Dev to remove our anarthas. Is it not expecting the Lord to do all the work? Or should we just help in removing anarthas from our heart? But the main work we have to do for our own. I think it's that example we gave earlier. Prabhupada said, go to the doctor and pray to Krishna. What Prabhupada meant is you have to be practical, but you have to understand ultimately Krishna is the supreme controller. Just like in this story of Prahlad Maharaj, one point comes out very clearly. And Prabhupada has talked about this, is that you can't change things that are destined to happen. So even though you have the best doctors, the child may not live. And even you have no doctors, the child may live. So we have to understand that. So So praying to Krishna means everything ultimately depends on him. But it doesn't mean that we don't use our intelligence or we just sit around and wait for him to do everything. And I have always thought that part of your prayer is to act, because it seems that Krishna is not really going to listen to your prayer if he doesn't see that you're working towards achieving what it is you're praying for. Like, Krishna, please help me get up at 4 a.m. And every day I get up at 8 o'clock. And I go to bed at 8 o'clock at night. So Krishna's looking at you and saying, is this prayer a joke? Like, do you really mean this? Do you want me to get you up at 4? But then Krishna sees you struggling every morning at 4, and you put the snooze on, and you're trying to get up, but somehow you can't. You finally get up at 5:30. Then Krishna sees, okay, you're trying, so now, okay, I will help you. And I think that's common sense, isn't it? Please help me. What are you doing to make this work? Now, of course, there is this point, which is what Draupadi did. And so what did Draupadi do? It's like, hey, Bhishma, hey, Pandavas, help me. Look what they're doing. He's trying to strip me naked. Everyone's hands were tied. Nobody could do anything. So what did she do? She tried to hold on to her sari, which she couldn't do because she wasn't as strong. Who was pulling off her sari? Was it Duryodhana or was it Sakuni? Do you know? Sakuni or Duryodhana. Duryodhana was madly in love with Draupadi. And he hated the Pandavas for many reasons, and that's one of the reasons. He really wanted her. So she was just trying to hold on, and she couldn't. So then she said, Krishna, please help me. So sometimes, Krishna Karshini, you will feel like, I've tried, and I can't do any more than I'm trying. Or you may feel like I don't even know how to try. This is such a big obstacle. And therefore, all your effort goes into praying. And I think that's a different mood than just laying in bed praying, Krishna, wake me up. And if you don't, I won't get up. So prayer, it depends on you, and it depends on what you're praying for. And so prayer will have different levels. And so that's one level of prayer will be, I can't do this. It's not even a question that I can try. This is just beyond me. I try, but my trying is kind of worthless. So sometimes we come to this point of Draupadi, well, I did everything and nothing works, so I only have you, and then you put your hands up. So that's, sometimes we're in that situation, and, there's nothing, I can't try, I don't have any power to try. It's only by your mercy that I can be successful. So I wouldn't say that's laziness. I would say that circumstantially, that's all you can do. But if there is a situation where you can do more and you don't, then it's kind of contradictory or paradoxical or hypocritical to pray and not make any effort. Don't you think? Yeah, it's almost like the prayer is like, I'm too lazy to do anything, can you do it? Kind of like breakfast in bed. You don't want to get out of bed, you're too lazy, so your wife makes you breakfast, and you lay in bed all day on Sunday, your wife won't be too happy. Get out of bed, do something, wash the dishes. So, just like, let's say, look at a relationship, and let's say your husband does something that's upsetting, and he says, I'm trying to not do this. So you see, he's trying to not do it, but he still does it because it's just his nature. And he might say, well, help me point it out or show me what to do. I don't know what else to do. I'm trying everything. That's the mood of prayer. It's like, this is like, I'm trying, but this is as far as I can go. And in some cases, the obstacle is so great that I actually can't do anything. Like, if you're praying for love of Krishna, you can't do anything. is he has to give it. You do your service. Okay, you're doing your service. You're doing your sadhana. Krishna, please bless me with a little bhava. There's nothing I can do to get that bhava. I'm totally dependent on you. So, I think you understand the point.
Dushasan was the one.
Oh, Dushasan was the one who was pulling. Dushasan. Yeah. They have these interesting names. Dushasan. Dur means bad. So, why don't you see if you can look up his name, what it means? Like a bad actor, a bad sitter. Well, sometimes in Sanskrit, when they put the words together, it's not asana. Asana means to a seat, maybe to be situated.
Sitting place is not bad.
Wherever he sits becomes bad. He may not ask if we can do more, and we don't do anything, and we don't, nothing happens. The contrary is true. Krishna reciprocates by giving inspiration, or a new idea, or the strength to do something different. Yeah, it's one of the great lessons is that you look at your situation, you look at your position in Krishna consciousness, and then you look back at your actions and your attitudes, and you see it's like a mathematical equation. You add up so many numbers, and you get a result. Do you ever go to a store and you buy, this is $4, this is $5, this is $3, the most expensive thing you bought is $8, and they ring it up and it's like $99, and you're like, I thought it was going to be $23. I'm sorry, sir, you bought, so why is this so expensive? Say, well, here's what you bought, and you're going down the list and you realize there are like 22 things you bought. So that's only averaging like $4.50, but or $5, but there's 22 things. No, not like, yeah. A little around $4, 22 things. Okay. So our life is like that. You look at the results of your life, or you're standing in Krishna consciousness, and you think, why am I not advanced? I say, well, look at your receipt and look at all the things you did. You did this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, and you did this, this, and this. And then that's why it adds up to not as much Krishna consciousness as I want, and it's not other people's fault. Because sometimes we think, oh, it's not fair, I've tried, and no, but it's actually just what we're putting into it. And then the other part of the equation is, what about the money you owe from the last time you went shopping that you didn't pay for? So, you have credit here, you have some debits, and that's showing up on the bill. So what about your last life and your last life? And so we're looking, I've done so much in Krishna consciousness this life, why isn't Krishna reciprocating? He is, but also understand, part of your bill includes your last life, and so there's all those purchases. And so, you add it all up, and this is what you get, your current level of Krishna consciousness. And it's not that it's unfair, or it's undeserving, or whatever. It's just a reality of what we've created. And so once we accept that, then we can start looking at, okay, what do I want to purchase? Or what do I want to return? Because everything is going to either add to the price or take away from it. What's his name mean? We're finding out what Dushasan means. The name is often derived from two elements. Du, meaning tough or hard to beat, and Shashana, meaning ruling or power. Oh, Shashana. A bad ruler. Dushasan, a bad ruler. And then Duryodhan, a bad fighter. Or Ravana, one who makes others cry. Or Duryodhan, I forgot his name. Either a bad fighter or one who makes everybody suffer. Duryodhan, literally. Dur, extremely hard. Yodhana, fighter. The one with whom fight is extremely hard. Right. Oh, so not a bad fighter, one who's hard to fight. Even Krishna tried to convince Duryodhana, don't have the battle, and he said no. So you can't fight with him verbally or in any other way. Yes. So I think it's super important when we look at Krishna consciousness and we think, well, Krishna consciousness is hard, it's difficult, whatever. Maybe sometimes think it's unfair, someone's more advanced than I am, why I'm doing the same thing. So you have to look at, the fact that we're all different. We have thousands of lives of conditioning. And then we have to look at what we're putting into in this life. If we're not putting as much into it as this other devotee, then this other devotee naturally is going to reap better results. So we're only reaping the results of what we put into it. And so if you want to be more Krishna conscious, then go do something that's going to make you more Krishna conscious. Don't not do it and then complain that you're not Krishna conscious. That would be foolish, right? Oh, I'm not Krishna conscious, it's so bad, I'm so weak, I'm so this and I'm so that. Well, why don't you read Bhagavatam every day for a few hours? Why don't you chant more than 16 rounds? Why don't you do this or that? That would change it. No, I'm so fallen, I don't feel like reading, I don't want to chant. It's like what are you saying? It's like saying, I have no money, I don't want to work, I don't want to go to school. That's basically, the same. No, I'm not Krishna conscious, what's the use? Yeah, what's the use of working? I'll just live on the street. It's the same principle. It's not different when you come to Krishna consciousness that it would be materially. You don't go to school, don't get an education. That has a certain result. So you don't put in the time for sadhana, you get a certain result. You put in more time, more effort, you have the right mentality, you get one result. You don't put in the time, you have the wrong mentality, you get a different result. So look at your result and don't blame anyone or anything for it. And if you don't like it, then there's things you can do to produce a better result. You can correct yourself, you can change your mentality, you can do more hearing and chanting, better association, stop making offenses, stop being critical. There's so many things we can do. Right? And so you just look at the result. It's like you took the test, you thought you got an A, and you come back with a C, and you want to get a knife and stab the teacher, right? Isn't it? And teacher's going, no, these are the wrong answers. You answered them wrong. It's not my fault. It's your fault. You didn't. These are just the answers. So there's nobody to blame but ourselves. So if you want more Krishna consciousness, it's available. Prabhupada's giving us so many books. And in showing us how to be Krishna conscious in so many ways and showing us how to solve so many problems. So if we're not Krishna conscious, who are we supposed to blame? The devotee next door, Well, I'm going to blame the fact that I don't like to read. That's why you don't like to read, and so you're going to... But it's not my nature to read, so I'm going to blame my nature for the fact that I'm not Krishna conscious. That doesn't make sense. You just, it's true, we have natures which may get in the way of being Krishna conscious, but I wrote a post, maybe it's today, it said that, I said that, sometimes I'll be in a difficult situation and I don't feel like being Krishna conscious, but I'll force myself to be enthusiastic. Because I know I need to be enthusiastic, and someone will say, well, how can you be enthusiastic if you're not Krishna conscious? You're not feeling Krishna conscious. And I said, my realization is because I have to be. Because if I'm not, I won't be Krishna conscious. And if I want to be Krishna conscious, then even though I'm not feeling Krishna conscious, I have to do what's necessary to be Krishna conscious. And if I don't, I'll just blame the fact, well, I don't feel like it. Okay, so the reason I'm not Krishna conscious is I don't feel like it. So when I leave my body and I go to the Yamadutas and Yamadutas say, well, you weren't very Krishna conscious. You go, yeah, I know, but I didn't feel like it, so what do you expect? Why don't you just give me a free pass to Vaikuntha, because... you have to be sympathetic on people who just don't feel like it, And the Yamadutas are going to go, what? Could you say that again? I don't understand. Right? So, we may have reasons, but I always say, if you have a reason for not being Krishna conscious, that's pretty stupid. Why should you have a reason for not being Krishna conscious? That makes no sense. You should only have reasons for being Krishna conscious. Prabhu, why? Well, the reason I'm not Krishna conscious is this, that, and that. Well, why don't you do something about this, that, and that? Oh, what can you do? I'm just weak. No. Yeah, you're weak, so am I. We're all weak, but why don't you do something about it? So that's Prabhupada's attitude. Whatever it is, whatever that excuse is, okay, that may be my nature, but do something about it. Right? We can't blame our nature on the fact that I'm not Krishna conscious. See, the point is, if you want to be Krishna conscious, you just figure out, what do I have to do? Okay, my nature is not to be enthusiastic. All right, so I'm going to have to be enthusiastic somehow or other. I don't know. I'm going to jump up and down in the kirtan, try to hit the ceiling, because actually I don't even like going to the kirtan. So I have to just switch. I have to do something. and then Krishna helps you, and then you like the kirtan. That's the whole point. So if you don't like your level of Krishna consciousness, then turn the dials. More japa, more reading, more kirtan, more service. Turn this dial down. Oh, the envy dial, let's turn that one down. The jealousy dial, okay, we'll turn that one down. How about the anger dial? Yeah, let's just turn that one off. We don't really need that one. Look at your dials, just look at your Krishna consciousness like a dashboard, it's like, okay, where's the envy, where's the greed, where's the lust, okay, let's turn that one. Okay, what about the service, what about the chant, yeah, we'll turn that up. So you just change your dials, and then the result is you'll be Krishna conscious. But if you have all these dials on high, lust, anger, greed, envy, and you say, it's not fair, I'm not Krishna conscious, I don't, this thing, just complain. Complain about your own actions. Don't complain about, the results. You created the results. If you don't like the results, change the actions. It's such a simple thing. Oh, my bill's $98. I only want to spend $50. Okay, well, take some things back. Turn the dials down, right? That's it. Himanda says, I just continue doing service no matter how I feel many times. I think that I am not a devotee, but I continue. Yeah. Well, none of us are really devotees. We're trying. But the key is just keep doing it, be enthusiastic, and be intolerant to your own anarthas. Don't just allow your anarthas to control you and control your life. Just the way I am, Yeah, well, that's just the way you are. And you'll come back in your next life and be the same way. You have to do something about it. If you say it's just the way I am, yeah, we probably have been saying that for many lifetimes. That's why we still have a material body. I mean, look at all your excuses for not being Krishna conscious, and I would bet all the money I have that you were making those excuses in your last life. That's why you're still making them now. So don't think like this is something new. This is a unique situation. We were probably in our last life making the same stupid excuse. Well, it's too hard. I'm not inspired, and I can't control my mind. And I'm so lusty, and I'm so greedy. Yeah. Well, that's why we got another body, because we weren't doing enough about it. So, so just understand that in this life, do something about it, and things will change. Simple. By the mercy of Lord Nrsingha Dev, he'll help you. Okay. So it's time to end class. And tomorrow's class is supposed to be at 6:15 Eastern Standard Time, which is 3:15 a.m. Las Vegas time. So depending on how the program goes tonight and what time we get to sleep, will determine if we get up. I have to drive 5 hours tomorrow, so it's probably not a good idea to drive half asleep. But we'll see how we're doing. So all I can say is for tomorrow is a definite maybe. And we'll see. But I will try my best. If we get to bed at a timely hour, then it shouldn't be a problem. Okay. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gauda Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. Turn the recorder off. Okay.